Well, hi, this is Josh Nelson with Plumbing and HVAC SEO. I want to thank you for joining me on this training where we're going to be talking about the ultimate online marketing plan and what you can and should be doing as a plumbing or HVAC business to really position yourself to get maximum exposure, maximum inbound leads, and maximum growth via the internet. And so before we really dive into this, I want to start by really asking, have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a dominant web presence that positioned you as the top plumbing or HVAC company in your area? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to have a flood of prospects calling into your business on a consistent basis that found you online? And have you ever wondered what it would be like to know that you were leveraging the internet to its fullest in terms of exposure, leads, and profits? Well, if you have, I'm excited to say that that's exactly what we're going to be covering on today's presentation. And you're about to discover a blueprint covering the most important online marketing mediums that you should be tapping into for your plumbing or HVAC business. How you can get your plumbing or HVAC business ranked on page 1 for the most important plumbing or HVAC related keywords in your area. A proven strategy for getting your company ranked on the Google map in your area by establishing your NAP, name, address, and phone number, citation development, and reviews, and a step-by-step strategy for getting more repeat and referral business via social media. So I hope you're excited. I hope you're really starting to think about how you can integrate this plan and these strategies into your overall marketing effort at your plumbing or HVAC business to really take your company to the next level. So let's start by talking about why the internet, right? Why are we sitting through a presentation and learning about the internet? Well, there's been a major transition from offline to online. It wasn't that long ago when if somebody needed your plumbing or HVAC services, the number one place they looked was the Yellow Pages. And they would take out the Yellow Pages, they'd flip to the plumbing section or the HVAC section, and if you were in there and you had a strong ad with strong messaging, you had a probability of showing up in the number one place people looked when they needed your services. Well, the transition has taken place over the last 5 to 7 years where people aren't accessing that printed Yellow Pages nearly as often as they once did. And it begs the question, where are they looking? Where do they go today when they need your plumbing and HVAC services? And the answer is, statistically, we know that more than 97% of internet users take advantage of online media to find local services. So local services like the plumbing company, the HVAC company. And so really that transition has happened where instead of looking on the Yellow Pages, now they're going to the internet. They're going to Google, they're going to Yahoo, they're going to Bing, and that's simply where they're looking when they need your services. And we know, based on looking at historic search trends, that there are over 20 million searches every single month for plumbing and AC related services. So there's a lot of people looking on the internet, and it's essential that you have internet marketing as a critical element in your overall internet marketing strategy. So who am I and why should you listen? Well, again, my name is Josh Nelson. I'm the author of The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Plumbing Contractors. I've also recently authored the book Internet Marketing and SEO for Contractors, everything you need to know to market your home services business online for more calls, more leads, and bigger profits. I'm an associate member of PHCC, QSC, and ACCA. I've spoken at PHCC, QSC, and other industry events across the United States, both at the local chapter level and at the national level. I actually was one of the speakers at the PHCC Connect annual convention in Las Vegas earlier this year. My articles on internet marketing, search engine optimization, social media have been featured in Plumbing and Mechanical, Contractor Magazine, and HVAC Insider. And I'm widely accepted as the preeminent expert in internet marketing for plumbing and HVAC businesses. But I'd say probably even more important, I've had the opportunity to work with plumbing and HVAC companies all throughout the United States and successfully help them go from obscurity online where they weren't ranking and they weren't getting any calls and their business really wasn't flourishing online to the point where they now have dominant positionings in their very very competitive markets, and a lot of them are getting hundreds of calls every single month and have seen significant growth. One of our clients grew from a one-man operation to a six-man operation over the last 3 years. One of the companies I had my hand in grew from zero to over $1 million in less than a 3-year period. So I'd say that's the main reason you want to listen. The same ideas, strategies, and techniques that have gone into getting those types of results are what I'm going to be sharing throughout the course of this presentation today. So obviously, as a company, we provide these services. So Plumber SEO, Plumbing and HVAC SEO, is a company that does internet marketing and search engine optimization for plumbing and HVAC businesses. And we can do all of this for you. Set up the website, do the on-page optimization, manage the blog, do the link building, do the tracking, put everything in place to help you maximize your potential online. With that said, this is not a sales presentation. I will not be telling you about our program and the costs and all of the things that go into hiring us. This presentation is intended to give you the information you need to position yourself for success going into this year. So, granted, if you'd like to talk with me about working together, I would love that opportunity, but that's not what this presentation is about. So as we look at your overall online marketing plan and think about what different things you could and should be doing, there are a lot of different avenues and there are a lot of different things you potentially should be looking at. And internet is much more than just a website. It's much more than just social media. It's much more than just email marketing. It's much more than just search engine optimization. So I've got an image up on the screen that kind of visually represents all of the different online marketing channels. You've got the basic search engine related stuff. And so the search engine stuff is, getting your website right, doing the optimization to make sure that you're showing up in the organic non-paid listings, doing the Google map optimization stuff to get ranked in search engines. And then within search, you've also got pay-per-click advertising, a paid ad on Google AdWords and paid ads on Bing search. And that's really just a small piece of the puzzle. A lot of people think internet and that's the whole play. Beyond that, there's social media, right? Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, YouTube. All of these are social networks that should be piece of your online marketing program. Then there's online directory sites like Angie's List and CitySearch and Yelp.com and many others. But again, these online directories are places people are looking when they need your services. So you want to have that as part of the overall strategy. And then there are pay-per-lead services, things like eLocal Plumber, Plumbers Nearby, Contractor.com, where you can pay either a monthly fee for inbound leads or you pay on a per-lead basis. And so with all of these different channels and all the little elements that go into each of these channels, there starts to be a little confusion, right? A little bit of, wow, well, I'm just the owner of a plumbing and HVAC business. I don't really know how to harness all of those channels. I don't know what I should be doing and where I should start. And so I want to paint the picture for you of what your overall internet marketing strategy should be and where you should start to make sure you have a strong foundation and go up from there. So I've got up on the screen a pyramid, and the pyramid starts with a strong foundation and moves up from there. And really, I feel like this is how you want to structure your online marketing plan for this year. First, you need to think organic, right? I'm going to talk a little bit about the differences between the paid listings and the organic listings. But really for me, organic is doing the work to make sure that your website, your company shows up as often as possible in the non-paid listings on the search engines and all the major online directory sites. And so that's really comprised of setting up your website, doing the work necessary to optimize it so it can show up in search, link building, content development, doing the work to get ranked on the Google map, claiming your online directory listings, building your authority, putting a review automation system in place. And that's really the foundation of where you want to have your online marketing strategy built. There's no ongoing cost. There's no pay-per-cost per lead or pay-per-click costs. And that's really the foundation. You're going to find that once you've got that foundation strong, you're going to start showing up in search in the non-paid listings. You're going to start getting good traffic. Your website's going to be written in a way that converts and resonates with the customers. And as you start to get strong return from that area in your business, it starts to make sense to say, okay, where else can we be being more aggressive online? What else could we be doing? And so the next thing is to look at social media and email marketing. There's a lot of different ways to look at social and email, but really, if you think of it as a mechanism to connect with your real customers and drive more repeat and referral business, then you'll have your mind in the right frame. And so being active on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and LinkedIn, sending out email messages to your customer base with the notion of how can we connect with our real customers in our real service area and remain top of mind with them and build stronger relationships with them so they refer us to others. Moving up from there, your business should be going pretty strong. You should be driving a lot of leads and a lot of revenue via the internet, and that's when it starts to make sense to look at paid online marketing channels, such as paid online directories. The ones we found to be really powerful are angieslist.com, in some markets, yelp.com, yp.com. These are online directories that people go to when they're in need of your services. And then, of course, at the top of the pyramid is pay-per-click advertising and setting up strategic pay-per-click campaigns on Google AdWords, on Bing Search, which gets you on all the major search engines in the pay-per-click listings. What I find with a lot of contractors is they're only doing a couple of these things, and they're typically not built on a strong foundation. So a lot of cases, the pyramid is inverted, and their whole strategy is built around pay-per-click advertising, and they've got very little invested in getting the website set up right, in getting the messaging on the website right, in having a review automation system in place. And when you've got the pyramid inverted, what you're going to find out is that you're kind of set up for failure. And so really I want to encourage you to build a strong foundation and then go up the pyramid from there for the most success in your plumbing or HVAC business. So let's talk big picture. What are the main things you should be doing right now as we enter 2014 as the owner of a plumbing or HVAC business to maximize your potential and ensure your success? Well, the first thing I really think you want to do is you want to revisit your website and make sure that it's optimized correctly for SEO and for conversion. So make sure that the website has pages for each one of your services, pages for each one of the cities that you operate in, that the content is compelling, that the content is unique, that you've got intelligently thought through title tags and H1 tags so that your site is positioned to show up well in search. But don't forget about conversion. And this is really why I want you to think. Go back to your website, pretend like you're a customer that's thinking about hiring a plumbing company or an HVAC company in your area, and think about what you would need to see and what you would want to feel before calling your company or some other company. And put your website through the ringer and say, is this really going to convert visitors into callers? And so really spend some time thinking about that to make sure it's optimized not just for search, but it's also optimized for conversion. Make sure that you have a mobile-ready version of your website. More and more consumers are accessing the web via their mobile devices, and they're getting to the internet on their iPhone or their Android phone. And if they're getting to your website and it's not optimized to show up in the screen and they have to scroll left and right and they can't get the information they need, they're going to go somewhere else. And so we know a lot of people are accessing the internet via their mobile devices. You need to make sure that you have a mobile optimized, mobile ready version of your site so that you're converting those visitors to callers. From there, I think you want to really get active in SEO. So there's two pieces, right? Updating the website and making sure you get the right pages. But the other piece then is building your authority so that you can show up well in search. And you do that by creating good content, updating your blog on a consistent basis, making sure that you've got links from other websites back to your website, and that you're creating relevant content on a consistent basis, pushing it out to the PHCC, Contractor Magazine, This Old House, YouTube, Vimeo, MetaCafe. By putting out good content that points back to your website, that's the number one play for building your authority and helping your website rank better in search. From there, as a plumbing or HVAC business owner, you have to be focused on the Google Maps, right? That's the number one area people look when they run a search for your services. So what do you need to do to get ranked on the Google Map? Well, the first thing is you have to make sure you've claimed and optimized your Google Plus local listing, which was formerly Google Places, and there's a little bit of a process for merging those two. You have to build your authority in terms of citations, and so citations are web references of your company name, address, and phone number. And you have to have a review automation process. We know getting ranked on the map comes down to 3 core things: having a properly claimed and optimized map listing, having consistently referenced name, address, and phone number across all the major online directories, Angie's List, City Search, Yelp.com, etc., and then having online reviews from your real customers in your true service area. Going into this year, make sure that you've got a systematic way that you're sending emails to your customers, thanking them for your business, and making it easy for them to write reviews for you on the public profiles. From there, I really think you need to be active in social media. And it's more than just having a social media profile. You want to make sure that you're on these social profiles, you've got them customized for your business, and that you're putting out relevant updates. And the online profiles I really think you want to make sure you have are Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and YouTube. There's others, probably others like Pinterest that you might want to consider, but those are the main ones you really want to tap into and make sure you're active on as a business, so that you can connect with your customers on a deeper level and start to get more repeat and referral business. Also, you need to be leveraging email marketing. So email marketing is the lowest cost opportunity to remain top of mind with your customers and prospects. Make sure that you're collecting the name and email address of your customers, and you're pushing out some type of message on a consistent basis to them via email. And there's all kinds of tools that will manage this for you. Make sure you're collecting emails and that you're sending emails, strategic emails, out to your customer and prospect base. From there, again, if we look back at the pyramid, right, everything I just described as part of what you should be doing this year is at the base of that pyramid, the organic and the social media. Once you've got that shored up and you're saying, okay, let's make sure we're really maximizing this online marketing channel, the next thing you want to do is start looking at paid online marketing opportunities. And so the first one I think you should be doing this year is pay-per-click advertising. Setting up a paid campaign that's strategically structured, right? So there's a lot of ways to fail in pay-per-click, but if you do it right, if you set up strategic ad groups with smart text ads and smart landing pages with strong calls to actions, pay-per-click can be very effective, it can be very profitable, and it can help you really show up more places in search for what you do. So get active in pay-per-click advertising, initially on AdWords and then potentially as a secondary tier on Bing search. Obviously, those all have their own networks, will get you in the paid area in a lot of additional places. Consider paid online directories. So you can always place yourself on Yelp and Angie's List and City Search and these other online sites for free as a free listing. But in some cases, it makes sense to pay for premium placement to be more highly exposed. And some of the paid online directories you might want to consider are Angie's List, Yelp.com, YP.com. And in different markets, they work differently and have different results. And then, of course, pay-per-lead services could potentially be part of your online marketing strategy. I've got all the way down at the bottom of the list because I don't like the leads that you tend to get through these services. The quality of the lead is different. They're typically more bottom of the barrel, just looking for the lowest price. However, if you do it correctly and you've got a strategic approach where you're following up with these leads immediately, you've got an email sequence in place where you're remaining top of mind with them, you can see results from pay-per-lead services like Home Advisor and eLocal Plumber and Plumbers Nearby and some of these other pay-per-lead type services. And the last thing you need to make sure you're doing this year is make sure that you've got the tools in place to track, measure, and quantify. Because you can have the best strategy in the world and you can rank and you can be spending a lot of money in pay-per-click, but if you don't have the tools to know that you're spending X and getting X times 3 in return, then it can be real easy to fail in online marketing. So make sure you put some tools in place to track, measure, and quantify. So now let's dive in. I'm going to go into that old plan, and in the next 45 minutes, I'm going to drill down on each one of them. I'm going to talk about how to get ranked in the search engines and how to get ranked on the Google map and really give you the details you need to execute a very proactive strategy going into this year. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you understand the search engines, the differences between the paid listings, the organic listings, and the map listings. And so when we run a search on Google for your city plumber, your city plumbing, your city emergency plumber, there are really three different elements that are happening on the search engines. Along the top and along the side are what's called pay-per-click, and I've got that highlighted as number 1 on the screen. That area along the top and the side, you set up an AdWords campaign, you choose the keywords that you want to rank for, and then you pay on a per-click basis to show up in those search results and to drive traffic to your website. The area below that is typically the map listings, and I've got it represented as a number 2. And those map listings have a completely different strategy than the pay-per-click listings. There's no way to call Google and say, hey, Google, I'll pay you $2,000 a month if you put me in the A spot. It's just not an option. There's no paid element to it. It's all based on relevancy. And Google wants to serve the best results so that people will continue to use their search engine. And so getting ranked on the map really comes down to having a location in the city of the search, having your name, address, and phone number listed in what we call citations across the web on various online directories like Angie's List and Judy's Book and Yelp.com, and there's lots of others, and then having real reviews from your real customers in your true service area. Those three elements really drive how you get ranked in the Google map, and I'm going to go into a lot more depth on that as we go. And then, of course, the organic listings, which, depending upon the search word, show up either above or below the map listings. And again, no paid element for that area. You have to earn it by having a relevant website with good content. And so the next question that typically comes along as we look at the differences between the paid and the organic listings is, well, if I can pay-per-click to show up in that area along the top and along the side, why not just spend all my money on the pay-per-click area? Why even think about the organic and building my authority and all of this other stuff? And the reality is, statistics tell us more than 72% of the population, when they search, their eyeballs go straight to the organic listings. So while I do believe pay-per-click is important and it's a great piece of your overall strategy, if you're trying to decide where you should spend your dollars, where you should focus your energy early on, you really want to start by getting ranked in the organic listings because you're not paying on a per-click basis, and more than 72% of the population click on that non-paid area of the search engines. So now that we understand the search engines, the paid listings, the organic listings, the map listings, we can start to say, okay, now what do we do next? How do we start to capitalize on all of these moving parts? And the first thing you want to do is you want to build out your website. And like I was talking about before, you want to revisit your site. Even if you spent a lot of money at some point and you feel like it was really strong, you want to make sure that you've thought it through in terms of optimization for search and conversion. So what I find in a lot of cases when I look at plumbing and HVAC businesses is that they're typically relatively shallow. Home, about us, our services, coupons, contact us. And what I've found in doing this for several years and working with a lot of different plumbing and HVAC businesses and having over 15 years of experience in search engine optimization, every page on your website's only going to be able to be optimized for between 1 and 2 keyword combinations. And if we start to think about how people search for your plumbing or HVAC related services, they're typing a lot of different things. Now, the obvious is they're going to type in plumber and plumbing and emergency plumber and drain cleaning. But beyond that, they're going to type in, residential plumber. They're going to type in garbage disposal repair. They're going to type in gas line installation. They're going to type in backflow testing. Within HVAC, they're going to type in AC repair, heating repair, the different brands of AC units that they have in their home that need to be repaired. And so if we go back to what I was talking about, where the typical plumbing or HVAC website is home, about us, our services, coupons, contact us, that's a great start. But if we want to show up in search for all those different combinations of keywords, we want to make sure we have pages for each one of the services. So a specific page on the website for drain cleaning, a specific page on the website for emergency plumbing, because every page on the site can only be optimized for between 1 and 2 keyword combinations. We need to build out the website so we have pages for each. Beyond that, we know the typical plumbing and HVAC company services between a 25 to 50 mile radius. So in that 25 to 50 mile radius, there's a lot of sub-cities and sub-towns. And if we want to rank for those sub-cities and sub-towns, we need to build pages on the website specifically for those cities. And so just as a visual representation, right, you want to make sure home, about us, our services. Under the services area, you can have a drop down, or on your services page, you can have pages for each one of those services. And so there would be a page on your website that's specifically written for your city drain cleaning services, or your city emergency plumbing services. Like I have up on the screen here, this is a website that has a page specifically for emergency plumbing, a page specifically for water heaters and water heater repair, and a page for each one of the main cities that they operate in. And so doing this and getting a little bit creative with how you build out your website then gives you the opportunity to show up and search for all of the different things that you do and all of the different ways that people are searching when they need your services. So that's what I'm talking about there. Really build out your website. And so there's an example of the, an actual city page. The caveat to the city page element is you have to make each one of your cities unique. So if you have 20 cities, you can't just have, hey, if you're looking for a plumber in this city, contact our company at this number, and then just replace the city in all 10 or all 15 or all 20 cities. You have to be creative. You have to write a unique set of content for each one of your cities. Otherwise, it's duplicate content. So just be aware of that. The next element now is to optimize the website for conversion. Because who cares if you rank number one for all of your keywords if those visitors that get to the website aren't converting to callers? So you want to make sure you're thinking about, how can I set up my website? How can I message my website so it resonates with people to the point that they pick up the phone and they call our office? And so obviously you want to make sure it's got an easy navigational flow. And having it either along the top and along the side, give them the core information they expect to see. Home, about us, our services, coupons, contact us, and then have drop downs or pages linked within pages that will get them to the additional content that they might need. And there's a lot of things you can do from a conversion perspective. I want to talk real quickly through the main things you want to be doing right now to optimize your conversion. And if we can just help you go from taking 10 visitors that get to your website and only converting 2 to having 10 visitors and getting 4, that would double your conversion, and it would make every single visitor to your website that much more valuable. So these are some of the things you want to make sure you do from conversion. Visually, always have a number in the top right-hand corner of the website. Studies have been done to show where the eyeballs look and where the mouse clicker goes when somebody gets to your plumbing or HVAC website. And their eyes tend to gravitate to the top right-hand corner. So make it easy for them on any page of your website to see your phone number and be able to pick up the phone and dial in to get you on the phone. Have a web submission form either on the contact page or ideally on every single page of the website in the sidebar, because you want them to have the option to type in their name, their phone number, and a brief description so that your team can reach out to them. If you make it real easy for them, where they don't have to click 3 different times to get to that web form, it really helps with conversion. So ideally, having a web submission form somewhere on the sidebar of all the pages of your website is very good for conversion. Have links to your social media profiles. Have a direct link to your Facebook page, your Google Plus page, your LinkedIn page. This helps with conversion just because people get to see the authenticity of your organization. And they get to see that you're more than just an anonymous website that's online. Down in the footer section of your website, make sure that you've got your company name, address, and phone number. Again, people are looking at websites in different ways. Some people look at the top header bar. Some people will scroll all the way to the bottom. Give them the information that they need. Having this name, address, and phone number down at the bottom also helps with getting ranked on the Google map, and I'll talk about that in a little bit later in the presentation. But make sure that you make that content in text on all the pages of your website. Try and infuse personality. Get real pictures of yourself, the owner, the team, your vans, and put that in the header graphic on your website. Put that in the homepage of your website. Put that on the About Us section on your website. To the extent you can transition from being stock, boring photography, that guy, the plumber with a cheesy smile and the wrench in his hand, to being authentic, this is really me, I'm the owner of the company, and my guys are going to come out to your house. The conversion is astronomically higher on websites that have this personality where you've got real pictures and real people as opposed to stock photography. So take some shots of your team and infuse that into your website. Make sure that you've got calls to action on all the blocks of text within your website. So on every page of your website, you're going to have a section where you talk about drain cleaning and the benefits of drain cleaning and what to do when there's a drain clean situation. Make sure you end that block of text with a call to action. Call now, click here for a coupon, or click here to have somebody from our team contact you. Think about the fact that they're reading down the page, and when they end the block, they need to be told what to do next. And you want them either to pick up the phone, type in a request, or go deeper into your website to find additional information that compels them to buy. Maybe that's seeing your reviews. Maybe that's seeing an online special or discount if you feel comfortable doing that. And so on that same token, if you do offer special offers and discounts, make them available on your website. It really helps to give them some type of incentive, all other things being equal, to contact your company and get an online discount as opposed to going to the next company. Always make sure that you have a mobile optimized version of your website. This is a simple example. Have a click to call button where they can press the button and be connected to your company so they don't have to try and find it right on a scratch pad and then dial it into their phone. And then really just condense the website and make sure that it fits the mobile device so that they don't have to scroll left, right, upside down, sideways to get the information that they need. And so these are some of the main things you want to do from a conversion perspective to convert visitors from your website to calls, which ultimately drives dollars, revenues, and profitability. So that's optimizing for conversion. Now let's talk about optimizing for search, right? Because if we have pages for each one of our services and we have pages for each one of the cities that we operate in, and we've got great content, that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to be showing up in search. When someone types in your city plus plumber, your city plus drain cleaning, your city plus heating repair. All it means is that we've got a page that's somewhere in Google's index. And we want to go to the place where, how do we start showing up in search? And in order to do that, we've got to make it real clear to Google what the pages on the pages on the website are all about so that Google can put you in their index for those keywords. And there's a lot of different things you can do on your website to make it clear what that page is about. The biggest things are having your title tag with a unique title tag on each of the pages of your website, using H1 tags with your keywords in them, getting your keywords into the images, into the URLs, into the anchor text that's scattered throughout the site. So the number one thing within that list is your title tag. And your title tag should be different on every page of your website, but it's the main thing Google looks at to say, okay, what's this website all about? And so I've got a screen up with an example of a website and an arrow pointing to the very top bar on the website. And that's your title tag. What I find in a lot of plumbing and HVAC companies is they tend to put their company name in that title tag. Joe's Plumbing or Tom's Plumbing or Tom's Plumbing and Drain. Obviously, we want to show up on our homepage for our city plumber, our city plumbing when someone types that into Google. So you want to change the title tag on your homepage to really read your city plumber and then your company name and then some secondary keyword. And so you want to go in and change that title tag by updating some basic HTML modification on your site. And then make sure that you've updated that title not just on the homepage, but on all the pages of the website. So, we're talking about having a page for drain cleaning and a page for water heaters and a page for hydrojetting. Make sure that title tag reads your city emergency plumbing, your city water heater repair, your city drain cleaning, all throughout the site. And target the specific services based on those specific pages that you've added by modifying the title tag, the H1 tag, and writing really good, unique, not copied content on the pages of the site. And so just as an example of how this plays out and how you could do this in the real world, there's a company in South Florida down in the Miami area called Southwest Plumbing Services, and they've been in business for almost 30 years, heavily focused on the commercial side of plumbing. So, in South Florida during the 90s, there was a lot of building, there was a lot of construction, and at some point that just kind of tapered all the way off. And the owner, Tom Watson, had a 100-man operation, and it was going really well, and it was a really strong business. But when that drop-off took place, a lot of those contracts that were out there dried up, and he needed to come up with a mechanism to keep his guys busy and to keep the ball rolling within his business. And he recognized that the internet was going to be a big piece of that strategy. And so he had developed a version of his website, kind of on a homestead, build-it-yourself type website. And, he had some pretty decent content, but it really wasn't optimized the way we're talking about here for each one of his services, each one of his cities, and then, built for conversion. So what we did was we went ahead and built an updated version of his website with all of these strategies built in. And, form on the left-hand side, phone number in the top right-hand corner. But more importantly, of course, having pages for each one of the services, pages for each one of the cities with the right title tags, H1 tags, and good content. And what happened over time was he went from not ranking anywhere in search to now if we go and we type Miami Plumber, it holds the number A spot. If we type in Miami Water Heater Repair, right there above the fold on page 1. If we type in Miami Gas Line Repair, right there in page 1. Miami Boiler Repair, spotting on the map, top position. And what I want you to see within these search results is that each one of these pages that are showing up in search, they're not the home page. They're the sub page or the specific page that was made for that search result. So in this case, Miami Boiler Repair, the first page that shows up is a page that's optimized for Miami Boiler Repair. And then, of course, the sub-cities that he operates in within Miami, there's Palmetto Bay, there's Pinecrest. So if we type in Palmetto Bay Plumber, right there above the fold, and this would take you straight to a page that basically says, hey, if you're looking for a quality plumbing contractor in the Palmetto Bay area, Southwest Plumbing's been serving this, for X amount of years, and this is what we do, and this is why you might want to choose us. Of course, unique between the Palmetto Bay, Miami, and Pinecrest. And so I just feel like after doing this presentation enough that showing real-world examples and case studies is really more powerful than just showing you how to do it. And so getting into the website, adding those pages for each one of the services, adding the pages for each one of the subcities now gave Tom Watson the ability to show up in search for a lot of different keywords. And, he says, this is straight from Tom, I now have placement for the keywords that are most important to me: Miami Commercial Plumber, Miami Commercial Plumbing Contractor, Miami Plumber, Plumber in Miami, Miami Tankless Water Heater Repair, and many others. So this is really important, critical step that as you start to build out the website and as you optimize it correctly, you can go from obscurity online to the point where you're ranking on page 1 for your most important keywords. Now, there's more to it than what you do just on the website. I'm going to talk about the other piece of it, which is building your authority through content development and link building. But this is the start, right? Getting the website, getting the pages, and optimizing those pages correctly. The next critical element that I really think you want to start to think about is optimizing for the Google Map and optimizing for the Google Map listings. And this is one of the most common questions I get on a daily basis from companies throughout the United States. And it's, what do I need to do to make sure I'm showing up in search on the Google Map when someone types in my city plus plumber, my city plus AC repair? And there really are 3 core elements that go into getting ranked on the Google Map. The first is to claim and optimize your Google Map or Google Plus local listing. Claim it correctly. I'm going to share some best practices on that. The second is to have a lot of citations, a lot of web references of your company's name, address, and phone number. And you do that by making sure you're in Angie's List and City Search and Best of the Web and Hot Frog with consistency of your name, address, and phone number. And then the third element is having real online reviews, lots of real online reviews from your real customers in your true service area. To the extent that you do those three things, you radically improve your probability of ranking in the Google map. So the first thing you would want to do is go to google.com/places and or google.com/plus/business. And that's where you can claim and manage your Google map listing. And there's a lot of things to think about in how to get ranked on the Google map. Actually, I'll be doing a presentation that probably runs an hour just on this specific topic. But some of the high points, some of the main things you want to consider are make sure that you've updated your company name so it's just your company name and not your company name plus a dash and then drain cleaning and plumbing. Don't do that. That's against Google's rules and will hurt your probability. Use a local number. In the Google map listings, always use a local number. Google wants to serve local companies, so don't put a tracking phone number, an 800 number or a tracking number in that phone number field. Use a local office address and or a home address. Don't try and squeeze a P.O. box into your map listings. It won't work well. Google has already kind of flagged those types of listings. Once you've claimed the map listing right, the next critical piece is to have your name, address, and phone number across the web. So on the map listings, what Google is determining is how do we find the most credible player in any city? And obviously being in the Google map listing is important, but the way they decide who's going to be spot A versus spot Z or spot D is really how they perceive the authority of that company. And that authority is driven by citations and reviews. And so to the extent that you can maximize your citations, which again are just references of your company's name, address, and phone number on the major online directories, you give Google an indication that you're a credible player in your market. So you don't want to be just on the Google map. You want to be on City Search, Index Knows, and YP.com. And there are literally hundreds of online directories that you want to make sure you're in with consistency of your name, address, and phone number. And where companies have started to get in some trouble here is in one of two areas. Either they don't have a lot of web references, so they're just not in these online directories, or number two, they're in the online directories, but the information is inconsistent. So they have one phone number on Angie's List, a different number on Yelp.com, and a different number on YP.com. Maybe they did it for tracking purposes. Maybe they've used a couple different companies throughout the years, and there's just lack of inconsistency. And so what you have to do if you want to improve on the map listings is you have to figure out what your name, address, and phone number is. As obvious as that sounds, what's the actual spelling of your name? What phone number is the main number that you're going to use online? And what address, exactly what address are you going to list? And an example of this is a company we work with in Brooklyn, New York, Petrie Plumbing. And when we started with them, they had worked with a couple different internet marketing companies, invested quite a lot of money, and kind of been frustrated because the results weren't there. They weren't ranking on the Google map. They weren't really even ranking in organic search. And they needed to find a way to get ranked better. And so what we did was we went in and we did an evaluation of their Google map listing, which of course had been claimed, and their name, address, and phone number profile across the web. And we found, just like I was saying before, a lot of inconsistency. You know, they had one number on Angie's List, a different number on YP.com, and it was creating inconsistent signals to Google. And so we went in and we made sure that all of the online directories were consistently referencing the same name, address, and phone number. Of course, we put a review management process in place as well. But what happened was over a couple months, they went from not being ranked on the map to the point where they now hold the B position for Brooklyn Plumber and the A position for Brooklyn Plumbing. And this is what they say. This is Mike and Jeannie from Petrie Plumbing. We now have a spot A position on Google for our most important keywords and get traffic and phone calls every day from people who find us online typing a variety of keywords. So the strategy's sound, and I think more importantly, the indication is once you start to get ranked on the Google map and you're showing up where people are looking, your phone will start to ring more, you'll get more revenues in your business, and you'll be able to take things to that next level. So the other piece of getting ranked on the Google map is getting online reviews. And I'm talking about real reviews, not bogus reviews, but real customers that go onto the Google map listing or the Yelp listing or the City Search listing and they write positive reviews for you, that's a major indication to Google that you're a credible player and you should be ranked in the Google Map listings. So the best way to get reviews is to put a process in place that makes it easy for your customers to write reviews. And there's a lot of ways you can do this. The best thing to do is to have a page on your website, yourcompany.com/reviewus, and have links on that page to the places where people can write your review. So a direct link to Google Map, a direct link to Yelp.com, a direct link to Angie's List, and then have a business card or a postcard printed up that your technicians hand out after every service call that says, hey, thanks so much for your business. We'd love it if you'd take a few minutes to write us a review. If you want to write us a review, just go to ourcompany.com/reviewus. And of course, they have links to those places where they can write those reviews. An even better way to do this, or maybe something to do in tandem to that, is to develop an email. Make sure you're collecting the name and email address of your customers, and then send an email after service that says, hey, thanks so much for choosing XYZ Plumbing Company. We really appreciate the opportunity to serve you, and would love it if you'd write us a review. And then right within that email, have the direct link to those places. And we find when you put a process in place that helps to automate this, that consistently asks for reviews and makes it easy for your customers to write reviews, you're going to get more reviews. As you get more reviews, your authority is going to be enhanced, and you're going to significantly improve your probability of ranking on the Google Map. So an example of this is a company we work with in Falls Church, Virginia. The company is the Plumbing Doctor. And when we started with them, they were heavily engaged with Yellow Book. And they had built their business over the years in Yellow Pages. And at some point, Yellow Pages said, hey, you know what? We'll manage the internet stuff for you as well. And so they managed their website and they managed their I think they did some pay-per-click advertising, and they were supposedly doing the social media and the map optimization. And what they found was they just weren't ranking on the Google Map, and they weren't getting the results they wanted from the internet. And as we started working with them and we did a deep dive into what was going on and why they weren't ranking, we found they just didn't have a ton of citations. They weren't referenced in all the major online directories. So they were on Google, but they weren't on Bing Search, and they weren't on Yahoo Local, and they weren't on Yelp.com, and they weren't in eLocal Plumber. And so our team went to work, and we made sure we got them in all of these online directories. And they improved in their rankings, and they saw some traction. But the key element was getting more reviews. And so we put the process in place to help automate the way that they were requesting and getting reviews. And what we found within a couple of months, they moved from not being ranked on page 1 to now if we type a search for Falls Church Plumber, right there, spot B on the map, Falls Church Plumbing, right there, spot A on the map. But the main thing I want you to see is it's about the reviews. And so if you look at their map listing, they have 39 positive reviews from real customers in their true service area. And this is what Dr. Bill and Tracy from the Plumbing Doctor said. They said, we've been working with Plumber SEO since the beginning of 2012 and been very pleased with the service. Prior to working with them, we'd attempted to have Yellow Book run our internet marketing efforts with very little success. Josh and the Plumber SEO team came in with a proactive internet marketing strategy that included a revamped website, SEO, map optimization, social media. Since getting started with them, we've seen significant increase in our placement on the search engines and hold the top spot for Falls Church Plumber, as well as a number of highly competitive keywords in our area. If you're looking to take your plumbing service business to the next level, I highly recommend Plumber SEO. Again, the key thing I want you to see from this example is when you get aggressive with your citation development and you put a review automation process in place, you can start to move into a very strong position on the Google Map and be ranking in search on the Google Map in your market. So the next step now is we need to build our authority. And if we go back a couple steps and we start to say, okay, well, we worked on our website and we made sure it had all the right conversion elements and we added these pages and we created pages for each one of our services and each of our subcities and we optimized them, right, with the right title tags and H1 tags and really good, authentic, fresh content. But there's still a gap there, right? Just because you've got the pages on your website doesn't mean that you're going to be necessarily showing up in search for all those pages. Because there's other companies that have also created pages in your city for plumbing and drain cleaning and water heater repair. So how do you go from being on page 3 or page 4 for these keywords to being on page 1? And when it comes to the optimization side of the equation, the determinant as to whether you rank on page 1 or page 5 is authority. And again, authority is driven by links, citations, and reviews. With these pages that we're talking about, really it's about the links. And it's not about junk link, it's about having other authoritative websites linking back to your homepage in these sub-pages on your website. More than 70% of the battle is getting links, and he who has the most quality links wins. And yeah, there's been a lot of changes in the Google algorithm in the past year, and Google introduced Penguin, Panda, and Hummingbird, and a lot of the rules around link building have changed. And Google's trying to really sort the spam-related stuff from the good stuff. Now, that doesn't mean you can throw out the baby with the bathwater. You still have to have other websites linking back to your website. Google still has that as a very big part of their equation. You just can't game the system. You can't go out and buy 1,000 links from Fiverr or from some other rogue source in order to say, okay, I've got links and now I'm going to rank. You have to do it right. You have to have good, solid, authoritative links back to your website. And so I've pulled up an image that represents some of the really quality sources you can look at to get inbound links. And again, a link is nothing more than one website linking with a hyperlink to your website. And every link Google counts as a vote. And so if the guy that's in the number 1 position has 2,000 links and you've got 7 links, he's going to outrank you because Google says he's got more authority. So some of the links that you can look at getting for your company are, the first is obvious. Look at the online directories. As part of the Google Map optimization process, I said to make sure you stamp out your name, address, and phone number and you get yourself in all the major online directories. Well, make sure you're in City Search and Yelp and Angie's List and Best of the Web and Hot Frog. Every one of these online directories has a spot where they can put a link to your website. So always do that. Look to the associations that you're involved with. PHCC, QSC, ACCA, other industry association websites have member sections where they will tend to list their members, and you can get a link from their member section back to your website. Look to affiliate partners within your area. So non-competitive, if you're a plumber, maybe look to your local HVAC contractors. If you're an HVAC contractor, maybe look to your local plumber or damage restoration company. They've got websites that are local to your area, and they can point a link back to your website. Maybe it's to have a section called local resources or our partners, right? And then there they can list their partners, the AC company and the electrician, and then get them to link to you, and you can have our partners area where you link to them. This could be considered borderline link exchange, which is a bad practice, but it's totally above board because it's local and it's a similar business to yours. Look to your suppliers, right? If you buy from Moen, American Standard, they have member sites. Social media. I'm going to talk about social media in the context of getting more repeat and referral business, but really, setting up a Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Every time you set up these profiles, you have the ability to have a link to your website. And as you post updates on these social media profiles, you can drive links not just to your homepage, but to the subsidy page on your website as well. Chamber of Commerce, BNI, local groups that you're involved with. Again, great links. And then there's your blog. Having a spot on your website where you're putting out good content that you can then share at other places online pulls a lot of inbound links to your website, which will build your authority and improve your probability of showing up in search. So as we talk about search engine optimization and authority development, you have to remember that content is king. Google is a content-seeking mechanism, and so you want to be putting out good, relevant content, which makes you the expert in your area and will drive people linking back to you and to your content. So remember, you are a content expert. You're a subject matter expert. As the owner of a plumbing business or as the owner of an HVAC business, you have knowledge in your head that isn't commonplace. Why you might want to consider tanked versus tankless water heaters. the benefits of trenchless sewer replacement, things you want to make sure you consider when repiping your home. You have this knowledge in your head. All you have to do is download it into the form of content, whether that's an article, a video of you explaining or answering questions about these things, creating a recording of you answering these types of questions. You can then take that content, that video, that audio, that article, and post it online. Videos you can put on Vimeo, Metacafe, YouTube.com. Audios you can upload to various sites online like iTunes. And content you can upload to content sites. Maybe This Old House, the local newspaper, will take that article that you wrote about the differences between tanked and tankless water heaters, post it on their website, and then of course in the bio box, in the description area, you can drive links back to your website. So if you're going to get active in SEO and you're going to build your authority, creating good content on a consistent basis is critical. Ninja link building strategy, right? So outside of claiming your directories, getting good quality inbound links, creating good content, one of the main things that you can do and that we tend to do as an organization is what's called competitive link acquisition. And that's the process of looking at the top players that are ranking for your most important keywords. And we know that they're ranking there because they have more authority in terms of link citations and reviews. There are tools where we can say, okay, the number one listing or the number one guy is xyzplumbing.com. Or we can pull up xyzplumbing.com and see what links they have, what websites are linking back to them, and do a comparative analysis. If they have 295 links and you've got 17 links, they're outranking you because they've got that gap, those different links. Well, the tools that are available like Majestic SEO, like SEO Book, like SEO Moz, will spit out a report of their links. And you can start to say, okay, there's a link from the Chamber of Commerce. I can get that link. There's a link from the local newspaper. I can write an article and get a link like that. And when you start to do that on a consistent basis, combined with setting up the website right, combined with putting out fresh content, combined with having a review automation process, that's how you start to bridge the gap and rank number one for your most important keywords. So that's kind of a ninja strategy, but if you do it, it will have powerful results. So the next step is getting active in social media. And of course, social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and social media is extremely hot, right? Thousands, millions of users are on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. And the number one question I get from contractors is, yeah, I see social media is active. I know people are really aggressively doing it, but I don't see how it applies to me as the owner of a plumbing or HVAC business. I really don't know how putting an update on Facebook or on Twitter would ever result in somebody calling me to do service. And the way I like to frame this is to say, stop for a second and think about your number one source of business. Where do your customers come from? What's the lifeblood of your company? And I'm sure, whether you thought it or not, if you think about it now, you're going to say, well, the lifeblood of my company is repeat and referral business. It's my happy customers using me again, and it's my customers referring me to their friends and family. Lifeblood of any quality organization is repeat and referral business. And so social media now gives you the opportunity to tap into that repeat and referral business, inject it with steroids, and take it to a whole nother level. And the reason I say that is because the average Facebook user has 135 friends. They check it on Facebook between 6 and 7 times per day on average. So if we can get our real customers in our true service area, our sphere of influence, to press the like button on Facebook, by virtue of that like, two really important things have just happened. First, they've given us the ability to remain top of mind with them. So every time they log into Facebook, if we're putting out consistent updates, they see, oh, there's XYZ Plumbing. Oh, there's XYZ Plumbing. There's XYZ AC Repair. And they remember you, and that improves the probability of that repeat business. But the other powerful element of it is, by virtue of them pressing the like, they've just exposed you to their 135 friends. And by exposing you to those 135 friends is almost as if they sent out a little personal note to their friends and said, hey, I found this really great AC repair company in our area, And the next time you need, a quality AC service, I recommend these guys. So if you think about like that, you start to realize there's a major opportunity in tapping into social media to connect with your customers on a deeper level and get more repeat and referral business. So what should you be doing within social, right? There's a lot of different profiles you should set up. Here's what I think you want to do right away. Set up a Facebook business page, set up a Twitter profile, set up LinkedIn, YouTube, and Google+, and of course have a blog running in tandem to that. Once you have those set up and they're customized and you've got access to put updates out there, start to really get active with it. And there's a couple ways to do this. Obviously, having social media profiles without any customers on them or that have liked and subscribed them, you really haven't accomplished much. So you got to get a process to get your real customers in your real service area to press that like button so that you can be putting out your updates and actually have somebody see them. I like to leverage email for this purpose. Send an email out to your database. Hey, we really appreciate your business. We'd love it if you'd press like. Maybe give them a special incentive for doing so. Also, the other thing you can do is after each service call, send a follow-up email, just like you did for the reviews. Hey, thanks so much for your business. We'd love it if you'd write us a review. Send out another email, maybe a couple days later, that says, hey, by the way, we'd love it if you connect with us on social media. And then a link to that Facebook page or that Twitter page so that you can start to build that engagement. Once you have that in place, then putting out consistent updates makes a lot of sense, right? If they're checking in between 6 and 7 times per day, you put out one update every single day, now you're remaining top of mind. The key, though, is don't just put out promotional stuff, right? Put out information, pictures, be social, and engage. So if somebody writes a comment, make sure you comment back. And that's how you can really leverage social media to drive more repeat and referral business within your business. And so the next step, now that we've got the organic side, right? If we look at that pyramid I talked about at the beginning, having a website set up right, leveraging email marketing, getting ranked in search, having an automated review request process, now it starts to make sense to look at paid online marketing channels, pay-per-click advertising, paid online directory listings, and possibly pay-per-lead type services. And as I start to talk about pay-per-click advertising, a lot of the companies I talk with say, hey, you know what, I tried pay-per-click and I spent a lot of money and I got no return on investment. Pay-per-click doesn't work. And my response to that is it certainly does work and it certainly can generate a solid return on investment. It just has to be done right. And there's some very specific reasons that most pay-per-click campaigns fail. And really it's based on lack of understanding of how the AdWords auction process works. Pay-per-click, a lot of people think it's about the highest bid. The reality is highest bid doesn't mean top ranking. Google needs to serve the most relevant results. And so they've developed what's called a quality score. And that quality score is driven by a lot of different things. By how relevant your text ads are, by what your click-through rate is on people that see the ad to click, on how long they stay on your website once they get there. There's a lot of different things that drive quality score. But your quality score will determine whether you can spend $4 and have the top position versus having to spend $8 to have that same top position. So if you manage your quality score in an effective way, you can actually pay lower cost per click while still maintaining top positioning. So, the recipe for failure with pay-per-click is to set up ad groups for each and every one of your services, plumbing, water heaters, drain cleaning, repiping, and driving it to the company's homepage. That's a total loss. That's not relevant, and so your conversion rate would be really low. The right way to do this is to set up ad groups that are very specific. So if someone types in drain cleaning, there's a specific text ad that says, hey, if you've got a clogged drain, contact XYZ Plumbing. That lands them on the page of your website that's not the home page, but rather is the page that's talking about drain cleaning and has a special offer specifically for those drain cleaning related searches. If you do it that way and you manage the pay-per-click campaign correctly, it should be a very strong performing return on investment avenue for you within your overall internet marketing strategy. And so the next step is to make sure you track, measure, and quantify. It's very easy to do all of these different things well and still lose money because you got a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of cost elements. If you don't have the right tools in place to track, measure, and quantify, you could be setting yourself up for failure. So some of the different mechanisms you want to put in place to track. First, put Google Analytics on your website. This way you can see how many visitors got to your website, what they typed in to get there, how long they stayed. These mechanisms will tell you if you're doing things right? If you're showing up in more search results, if you're running a pay-per-click campaign, the traffic to your website should increase. And so that's the main thing you want to look at with analytics. The second thing you want to put in place is some type of keyword tracking report. And so if you spend the time on the front end looking at your keywords, your city plus plumber, plumbing, emergency plumber, drain cleaning, water heater repair, there are tools like Bright Local and like Raven tools that will run a report on Google and Yahoo and Bing and tell you exactly where you're ranking right now. And it can be set up to run on a consistent basis so you can see, how are you moving up in the results for your most important keywords. And the third thing you want to put in place is call tracking. Now, granted, you want to make sure you do this in a way that's safe, that doesn't mess up your name, address, and phone number, but putting call tracking in place gives you the ability to see, all right, we spent X, and we got this number of calls, and here are those calls to know exactly what your true return on investment is. Another option is to have a CRM system where you're tracking your lead sources. This is a great way to say, okay, well, we got 72 inbound leads via the internet, and if your CRM is also tracking the revenue from every lead, you can really start to drill down and know your true return on investment. And then, of course, the bonus is to get ready for the phone to ring. One of the companies we work with is the Clean Plumbers, Philip Marisi out of Tampa, Florida. And when Philip started with us, he'd been in business for like 25 years. I mean, he's a well-established plumbing business, built his company heavily on the yellow pages and, wrap trucks and things like that. And started to realize in the last 7 or 8 years that the internet was pretty important. And so he had his son develop a website for him and started to do some internet marketing. Paid a couple different companies to do some optimization, so-called optimization, and kind of hit a brick wall. So he set up his website. This is what he had, and apparently he was paying SEO companies to drive traffic to this kind of website, and it just wasn't generating results. It didn't show up in search. It didn't drive a heck of a lot of calls. And so we came in and we implemented this whole process we're talking about here, right? Building out the website, having pages for each one of the services, having clear call to action, having the easy request form, making it really easy for people to find his company and call his company online. Started doing the link building, the citation development, and within a couple of months, he moved from not being on page 1 to having a very strong page 1 position for Tampa Plumber. Very competitive area, very competitive keywords. And what I want you to really see here is we also put the tracking mechanisms in place. So Google Analytics, keyword tracking report, and call tracking. And so within the graphic on his website, there was a number that somebody could call, and we could track how many calls came in. Started with us in January. We put that call tracking number on the website, and in the month of January and February, there were only a handful of calls. And that was just a function of the organic element of his website. People going to Google and typing in, Philip Marisi or the Clean Plumbers, they knew him. And so that drove those initial handful of calls. By the time we got to March, we had built the new version of the website. We had started the process of getting the website ranked better in search. That number jumped from just a handful to 52 calls. By the time we got to September, now we've really gotten things off the ground. He's ranking on page 1 for a majority of these keywords. He's really well established. And in September, he had 147 inbound calls on that same tracking line. So that's a pretty significant improvement in inbound call ratios from just a handful to 52 to 147. And so obviously that's bonus. Phone starts to ring. Here's what Philip said. He said, prior to starting with Plumber SEO, we're only getting a few calls via the internet. In September of this year, we tracked 147 calls directly via the web. Now, of course, this was over a year ago when this testimonial took place and this reporting came out. Well, since then, we've gone to the next level, right? We've really got aggressive on these next pieces. as far as implementing pay-per-click advertising, leveraging social media at a deeper level, leveraging email marketing, getting active on some of the paid online directories, especially Angie's List. And since then, in this past November, this last month, he had 311 inbound calls directly via the web. So, if you implement these strategies all the way through, you can expect a significant improvement in the number of calls and revenues and profitability in your plumbing or HVAC business. So I hope you found great value from this. I hope you're able to take these ideas, strategies, and techniques and just take the overall plan and start to mold it and implement it in your business. If you'd like to partner with us, if you'd like to have me and my team implement these strategies for you, and we can and will do the whole process, right? Get into your website, make sure it's built out correctly, make sure it's optimized for search, clean up any duplicate content, go in and do the link building, do the citation development, make sure you're in the online directories, put a process in place to help you start to get online reviews, manage your blog, manage your content development process for you, do the tracking, the measurement, really implement some of the tier 2 stuff like pay-per-click advertising and paid online directories. We can do that for you, and we'd love the opportunity to talk with you about the possibilities of working together. My contact information is up here. You can always reach me at 866-610-4647 or send an email to josh@plumberseo.net. So I really hope you got value from the information. Would love to talk with you if you're interested in exploring the possibilities of working together to help you implement these strategies in your business.